Hey, what's up, folks? So, as a few of you may know, this has been a very tough year for me. It's been a very tough year for everybody. You can look at me right now, you can see that I'm not all back together. My eyes are still messed up. But all in all, I would have to say that this was one of the most transformational years of my life, um, for the better. And I realized that I have gotten a lot better at responding. I've gotten a lot better at responding to the things that happen to me. Now, this year was very revealing to me. It was almost like it was supposed to happen. It was like it was biblical. Maybe that's the case for everybody or anybody who will learn the lesson. And so this year it started off with me uh, kind of running out of money, living in an apartment with people who didn't like me at all. And when I told them I would go live in my car because I ran out of money because I had to take care of other bills, this actually started happening last year. They said, "No, why would you do that?" Only to find out that, uh, they were talking behind my back, saying a lot of bad things about me. I was the butt of the joke. Come March, when the lease was up, I didn't really know where I was going to go. And so my aunt let me move in with her to her brand new house, where I am now, you know, and pay rent and stuff like that. At the time, I didn't realize how much baggage I had, how much pain I was carrying. I was in survival mode, I would say, for 2 years, but honestly, it was longer than that. You know, it's been quite some time since I was able to come home, and it just felt like home. I didn't have to worry about anything. I could just unpack. It's been well over a decade to finally have that opportunity. And so when I moved in with my aunt, I got to release, but I released in a bad way. As felt like I had more freedom to myself now, and my cousin and her fiance, they party and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for the first time, I was able to really partake in heavy amounts of drinking. So I did a lot of drinking and I did a lot of smoking, and it spiraled out of control relatively fast. Because when it happens to me, if things are going to go bad, they're going to go bad very fast. Um, that doesn't mean that things don't build up over time, but things can get bad because I have this habit of just abusing things, or I had this habit, this addictive personality. And so it just led to me being intoxicated for, pretty much damn near all day or quite often, more than I was used to, which led to me being a little too honest, and I got in trouble with the FBI. The FBI sent Homeland Security, um, treated me like I was a terrorist threat, And shortly after that, I got caught up in drunk driving and speeding. And I remember at one point I was going over 100 miles per hour and driving in the rain, dark. And then coming from that, then the next day to experiencing something, and I've obviously come to the conclusion what it was, but something just didn't feel right within my body. I felt really uncomfortable. I felt really sick. It wasn't just hungover, but it felt like I was trying to get my consciousness back. It was like I was on a bad trip and I was waiting for it to come back. And so I was fucking scared out of my fucking mind. And I would do what I would do when I felt like I was having bad trips from just smoking weed. And as I would give myself a bath, I would take baths until it would just calm down. But May 7th, I was just sitting in the bathtub, and I was just like extremely bothered. I'm like, this isn't going away, man. Feel like I was dealing with some serious ass demons, and it seemed like I wasn't in my body. That was tough. It was very tough to deal with because I don't think I had ever experienced anything like that. But for years, I had told myself that I experienced a little bit of depersonalization. So I kind of had a name for it, but at this particular time, through experiencing this, it I thought that I was dying because nothing, any little pain that I felt, it seemed like it was magnified. It was just seemed like it was the worst thing ever. No, couldn't be too hot, and I couldn't be too cold, and I was just again, just sense of doom. And so I ended up going to the psych ward, and I was in a psych ward for 5 days or so, and got mixed review. They gave me so many different types of medications, and I didn't respond well to all of them. Some of them really made me feel like I was having a heart attack. Got my heart rate up very fast. My blood pressure was up. Even the staff there was extremely worried for me because they couldn't contain it. Then I go home and I deal with a little bit of the same, and I really had a tough time adjusting. I was very uncomfortable going anywhere, going to anybody's house, whether if I've been there before or not. I had a tough time doing that. I just felt doom carry me everywhere. I mean, follow me everywhere, and I kind of had to push through that. I had to push through that by way of because I was also like delivering laundry and stuff, and I had to make sure that I was taking these vitamins and these supplements that I ordered, and just trying to keep myself calm and understand that I'm okay, even though I don't feel right and I don't feel like I'm in this body. And I would do constant research on how to deal with depersonalization because that I had finally come to the conclusion that that was the case, that I was truly dealing with depersonalization. And I would listen to everybody's testimonies and what they took for it. I even bought a course on, it's called the DP manual on depersonalization. It was very good, very comforting when things got overwhelming for me. And over, over the next five five months or so, I progressed. I got better. I started working out. I was working out more, and I put on weight, and things were looking better. I even found a way. I guess you could say it's luck, but I've won thousands of dollars and playing fantasy sports over. I mean, like $19,000, and that was good because I told myself, well, I can't do this driving job anymore. Plus, I was starting to get unemployment because I was working part time, but I was getting unemployment from my last job, which I'm still getting now. So I kind of made a plan to um, just focus on my mental health. And so, if I can reflect a little bit, throughout all of this, I had to learn that running away wasn't an option. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't even a mindset thing. It wasn't like oh, suck it up. I literally didn't have a choice. It was either you're gonna have to deal with these sensations that you feel, contest all of these sensations that you feel, sit with it, force yourself through it, or like, what you gonna do? Go back to the psych ward, kill yourself? I mean, my options were fairly limited, and all the while, life was going on, and I still had responsibilities to take care of. I still had a daughter to take care of, and which was the main reason why I had decided that I was gonna start working on my life and that I was going to get sober. But I learned through that experience of facing all of these things is that there was really no fear greater than, the fear of myself. I, I was fearful. And for a while, for the first time in really a long time, that I really internalized what it would feel like to actually be dying, to die, you know, and to sit with the fact that someday I'll be taking my last breath. One moment I'll be taking my last breath. And it's very uncomfortable to deal with. And it's very uncomfortable when at night you try to go to sleep and the darkness makes you uncomfortable. It makes you uncomfortable for some reason. and your eyes fool you. Your eyes are deceptive, and you question everything that you're dealing with. And usually your mind it goes towards the negative. We're just hardwired to see negativity. It's a survival tactic, you know. But anyway, let's get to let's get to a recent event that happened this past Saturday. Halloween was very fitting, and so I get a text message early in the morning from a friend who wasn't friends for that long, and people had come to the conclusion that it was a setup, but I've come to the conclusion that it probably wasn't. It's just that I was dealing with somebody who was just completely green and naive, but whatever it was, it happened. So I don't really care about why it happened. But anyway, so I get a text from this lady, and she tells me, well, we had been talking for a while, and she always told me how her fiance was abusive, put his hands on her, call all types of names. And me, with my background, I just couldn't stand for things like that. I grew up watching my mom getting abused, and it's like I've told you guys before, the hero is stupid. And so as I was driving out there, things were just telling me to not go. Just don't go, because this was her fiance's place, uh, or so they say. But there's some conversation about it being in default, whatever it is. So I say, okay, I'll go over there. I'll help you. And she wanted me to take her to the airport so she can get a car. She had a rental, and so she could drive to Atlanta. And I went there, waited for her to pack up. As she was just about finished, really, I was sitting down. Her fiance bangs on the door. He doesn't even have a key or anything like that. He comes in the door. He has somebody with him. He has his cousin. He says, "You need to go." He says that to me. I said, "Okay." I pick my stuff up. I pick my phone up, my keys. I'm walking away. I'm next thing you know, I'm getting I'm getting beat both ways. I get jumped, I get stomped, kicked, all of these things. Um, before it's all said and done, because I'm in complete shock at this point. I mean, I've been in many fights. I've even been jumped before. You know, I've been in many fights, but at this point, they beat the shit out of me. At one point, I was being choked out, and I damn near lost consciousness. And so while this was happening, I think she was calling the police. She had ran out. So when I finally get to the hallway, I'm asking them. I mean, I'm telling them, give me my things back. I need my things back. They're trying to claim that I stole something from them. I never even left the place. The cameras would say that, and I'm like, man, you can look. We can go check my car right now. And this is me being diplomatic after getting my fucking ass beat. The only reason why I didn't continue is because by the time we got to the hallway, there are cameras there. I'm finally able to get downstairs. I get downstairs, and there's the police there. There's fire departments and paramedics, whatever. I'm talking to them and things like that. I'm telling the police all of my things are in there. You know, my keys, my phone, my chain got ripped off of me. My debit card. All right, it was a cash app card. I wasn't really worried about that. And so uh this officer keeps going upstairs, downstairs, getting our stories. And each time he's coming down, I'm like, "Where's my stuff? Can I get my things? Can I get my stuff? Anything? Like, where's my stuff? I don't see my keys." At one point, he's asking me, what's your car, and what's the name? So I'm like, "Yeah, it was my car right there across the street, man." Like, so he goes to check my car. I'm thinking he has my keys or whatever. So when we talk about it later on, I'm like, "Yeah, you check my car, you got my keys." So he's like, "I don't have your key. All of my things are upstairs." All right, they claiming I stole stuff. Please go check my car, because where else would it be? I'm like, "Where's my stuff?" And finally, the last time he came down, he walked up to me. I'm like, "Where's my things?" And he said, "I'm gonna need you to turn around." I'm like, "For what?" He said, "I'm arresting you." For what? For simple assault and domestic violence. And I'm like, they attacked me. They held me hostage. I wasn't able to leave. And you're arresting me? Like, I got to see them walk right past me. All my things are missing: phone, keys, chain, debit card, my hat, my hoodie. It's cold outside. I get arrested. I get locked up. They take me to the hospital. At this point, I've been up for maybe 12, 19 hours. And I go, I'm in the hospital. They checking me for all this and that. Then I go get processed, and then I go to another cell. I go to a holding cell at a court, and this process lasted about 7.5 hours. You know, cold, cold. The beds obviously have no pillows, no covers, nothing. I'm freezing. Cockroaches. So laying down with cockroaches. I'm fucking bleeding. My head is nodding. My whole face was swollen. And I'm just like, I was kind of in a daze because one, I got jumped, and two, I was sleep deprived. Especially by the time I finally got out, which was about 4:30, which was over a day since I had any sleep. It was over a day. I couldn't get much. I couldn't get sleep laying on in a cell, laying on the bed with nothing. And while I was there, I was just thinking, like, because I even told one of the police officers that was there when I got arrested, who was very confused that I got arrested. When I got arrested by the arresting officer, he was like, "What? Why are they getting arrested? And why is he getting arrested?" And then another police officer, who met up with us in the hospital, was very confused. He told me that it was going to be thrown out, and which it was. But I was telling this police officer, I'm like, they have my keys, bro. Something's going to happen to my car. My car is going. They're going to take my car. They're going to do something with my car. At the very least, I was worried that they were going to go in the car. They was going to take my bag. My bag had other valuables in it. It had a Kindle and it had AirPods. And so I get out of jail, and I try to make a call. I asked them if I could make a call because I got my stuff stolen. We don't do that here. I couldn't make a call. I get out. I don't even have socks. I don't even have shoestrings. I get my shoes, but I don't have shoestrings. I'm wearing shoes the whole time, but I don't have shoestrings. I don't have a coat. I don't have a hat. Nothing. I'm out there with just a shirt on and shoes that can barely stay on. And I'm just walking. I'm walking around, not for long, before one of the people who got arrested and who got released with me at the same time, they get my attention. They called me over to some people who were handing out coats and hats and gloves and drinks and all these things. Very charitable stuff. Never thought that I would be in a position, even for a moment, that I would need something like that. But it happened. They put the coat on me, or they gave me the coat, gave me a hat, and let me use a phone. I used the phone. I called my grandma, and I just said, I'm not going to say anything right now, but I need somebody to come pick me up. And, from where I was and where my grandma lives, it may have been about a 40-minute drive or so. I tell her to send my brother. Well, I asked for just anybody to come. She sends my uncle. She sends my brother. They come together. So I'm across the street. I had to pick a landmark. So it was a train station, and I sit around waiting, taking it all in. They finally pick me up, and then they're the first people that I tell of what happened. At this point, because I was in a daze, I got beat damn near unconscious. I was sleep deprived. I was I had blood on my mind. I had revenge on my mind because I was in a bad condition. I didn't know how bad my face looked. I didn't know how bad things were as far as how I looked till I got home. I didn't even know my eye was swollen. But uh, they picked me up. We talk about this. I'm trying to remember where the location was, but I'm trying to tell them where it was. We drive around for quite some time before we actually just happened to stumble across it by process of elimination, just narrowing down where I may live. I mean, where I was parked. They bring a spare, by the way. I tell my brother to bring a spare. He does. I go to where the car is. Nothing. My car is gone. I checked to see if it was towed. Nothing. You know. Later on that night, uh, my aunt, she takes me back to the place I got processed. She used to be a police officer. She takes me back to the place I got processed, and she's where do I go from there? I'm a little thrown off. I mean, she wanted me to tell her the story multiple times so she could kind of help me relay, what was going on. I tell them that my car was missing. All right, so they put out a that's where I was going with it. They checked to see if it got impounded or anything. Nothing. It happened exactly the way that I thought it was going to happen. Is that this guy's cousin? He took my car back to North Carolina because that's where they came from that day. Now, did news get out about that? No. I'm still waiting to hear word on that. But I kind of get it. I kind of get into it with the police because I'm like, because they're talking about. I'm saying I want to press charges, and they talking about it. We can't because I can't because it's conclusive that I was the aggressor. Oh yeah, by the way, that's what they convinced the police that I attacked them. They convinced the police that I attacked them, even though the phone call that was made were clearly stated that I was being jumped, attacked out of nowhere. Um, and that night, I felt betrayed. I got hit with the hat trick, a hat trick of sorts, man. Got the shit beat out of me. I mean, shit, they could have killed me. Flat out, they could have killed me. I got robbed, and then the police locked me up. And while I'm locked up, my car is gone. My car is just missing. My car gets taken. That's the justice system, and apparently because they didn't have a warrant, they weren't able to search for my things in there. So if the people denied, which they will deny, they won't say, "Yeah, we committed a crime." They deny that my things are in there. There's nothing I can do. Nothing the police can do. And I felt betrayed. But through all of this, I kind of tried to tap into some of the strong characters that I've seen portrayed through uh, television, fictional characters. But I'm able to tap into that strength because I mean, there are real life people who are actually about that. And I tapped into that, and I tapped into everything that I learned through my experience of practicing stoicism, separating myself from the situation, looking at it, observing it, not letting it dictate how I'm going to feel. That was very tough to do. It was very tough to do because although I recovered relatively fast, it's tough knowing where this person lives and you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it because one, there are implications that are going to point back to me. Two, cameras, all of these things. Trust me, I've contemplated pretty much everything that I could do. Even contemplated getting him into jail, and then I can handle the rest that way. I can definitely make some calls. Can't do much on the outside. And I, to be honest with you, I'm surprised. I mean, I preach stoicism. I practice it. I practice putting things into perspective. But I'm surprised that I responded to this so well, even though it is tough. Knowing that there are people out there who did this to me, probably got a laugh at, off of it afterwards, made some money off of my things, not a care in the world. And yeah, I care about karma, but when you hurt me, I want to be the one to have some say in the revenge. And it would have been much worse than what happened to me. I got to be honest. But something clicked. Something got activated in my mind. Something that I had already internalized, but this was the final straw. It was like what little bit of fear I had left in me just got taken away. Now it doesn't mean that I won't feel initial fear, but my fear of, and any initial, I mean, just the ultimate fear of maybe looking somebody in the eye and talking, telling people exactly what it is, saying exactly what's on your mind, doing exactly what it is you want to do without, and not even letting the opinions of others penetrate you where it makes you feel insecure. That has been activated. Now it's interesting that prior to this, and I was current, I was reading Thick Face Black Heart, which preaches, among other things, but preaches not only not letting other people's opinions penetrate you, but being unapologetically focused on your purpose, your mission, whatever it may be. That was activated because I was able to once again make it through a very traumatic thing. And I was put in a position where I had no one to cry to. Did I cry that day? I cried. I cried a couple times because I was frustrated. I was frustrated that I was treated like a criminal after all these years of having no criminal record. And I'll be able to get this expunged, but you know, now I have a blemish on my record. I have a assault, and it's like if I'm gonna get assault on my record, let me be the one who did the assault. I was I was damaged. How was I able to recover so fast? I observed it. I went over it so many times. I always thinking about what I could have done. You should have been on guard. You should have left earlier when your mind was telling you to. You shouldn't have went. You could have just went to sleep, or you were tired. Why didn't you go to sleep? All of these things. And then having my hard nosed aunt in my ear telling me that things are gonna get better. We can replace these things. You know, again, and this was a test to see if I was full of shit or if I was really about the things that I was talking about. Do I really put things into perspective, or do I let circumstances break me? And very quickly, because I had about a day before I had to get my daughter back, very quickly did I get thrown back into regular life. I was just supposed to move on with everybody else, you know. And if anybody who has a toddler, they know that they fight. And I struggled with my 2-year old. Wasn't at full strength, and she likes to swing and kick and stuff. And I was taking more hits to the face, and I was trying not to internalize that. I was trying not to be triggered by that, trying not to develop any type of PTSD. I don't think that I will be developing any of that, which is good. That doesn't make. I mean, it does make it easier. I was gonna say it doesn't make it any easier. It does, But I had to deal with that. Even today, she fucking headbutted me in my lip. My lip's just starting to heal, and she kind of bust my lip again. When I woke up from taking a nap, my ear was bleeding. So I still have a ways to go, a little ways to go as far as recovering. This eye looks puffy because it just so frequently, not frequently, but conveniently just is developing a sty. But I'll get rid of that as well. And perhaps practicing so much on the chessboard prepared me for things like this. Is that when you're in a situation, it's always going to be a puzzle. It's always going to be a matter of how can I make this better? How can I get out of it? Whatever it is. I started, from kind of ground zero again. And I had to do these things even though mentally I just didn't want to. And what the things I'm talking about is I had to call, I had to talk to the police again. I had to tell people in my family what was going on. I had to deal with everybody showing sympathy and, are you okay? And I had to keep dealing with this. What happened to you? I had to keep dealing with that. Had to talk to the insurance company. Had to, you know, uh, replace my phone, replace my card, replace my Kindle, replace my uh, AirPods. Had to replace all of these things. And there were things that they took from me that I can't get back, which was tough. Because as I was trying to, say, even when I was locked up, I was thinking like, yeah, I'll be able to replace all of this. I got the money. My aunt would have probably taken care of it for me, but I replaced it. And I was telling myself that, but it wasn't until later on they took my writings, man. So you may not know this about me because I try not to speak on it until I like solidify it. But I have a history of creating music. All right, historically as a rapper, but I taught myself how to sing. And in my trunk, because after I moved out, um, the apartment, some things I just kept in the trunk. And in that trunk, I had a bunch of written music, and they took that away from me. And that probably hurts the most. That probably hurts the most because you know, I, I mean, I put my heart into that, man. All of the suffering that I had to go through prepared me for all of the writing that I've done. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even know that you were. I didn't know that you were sending me messages. So let me just start responding. Thank you. First of all, thank you for when I posted the picture, I wasn't looking for sympathy, but it was just like I was just gonna type it out. But I think I just wanted to show people, and I wanted to show myself that I wasn't afraid to put myself out there and to show people, I'm not too prideful to show that I can get caught slipping. All right, I want to show you that I'm a man of my word. All right, so the experience has been tough. I still do get a bit emotional, but it's not even a woe is me thing, man. I've done some bad things in my life, and perhaps it was my karma. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't. I did. You're right. I didn't have any weapons on me, but think about this. I got arrested. You know, I'm the one who got arrested. So imagine what would happen if I brought a gun, if I brought a knife and used it. I'd probably still be in jail. you know. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it was a test from the universe. Was it a law of attraction? Was you thinking of a situation before homeboy walked in the apartment? Yeah. Well, just kept telling me to leave, man. Something kept telling me to leave. I didn't think that I was going to jump, but that happened. And because I practiced on the chessboard so many times that when I make mistakes like that, it it doesn't happen. It doesn't really happen again. And so because of that, I won't get caught in a situation. I won't get caught in a situation like that. But yeah, my lyrics were stolen, a great deal of them. I memorized some, but a lot of it is a lot of it is missing. And then the other thing that I can't get back is, which may be a good thing, I just can't really get back that feeling of just letting my guard. I can let my guard down. So now I'm especially analyzing everything, and I it'll probably be tougher for me to get caught off guard. It doesn't mean that bad things won't be able. Doesn't mean that bad things can't happen to me. It can, but and the message of all of this is the way you respond to these things. Uh, it not only says a lot about you, but it says a lot about the direction in which you'll go. And I hate to kind of use a pun at my expense because this is it's kind of touchy, man. But I really feel like I got a lot of superficial fear beat out of me. A lot of superficial fear beat out of me, and it was already unfolding as this year was going on, but especially now. That means when I make my videos, I can't worry about what people may have to say about it. I can't worry about down votes, whatever it is. The same thing when it comes to books. The same thing that comes with status, whatever I put out, you know, because I've been through situations that are far worse than that. And this one was kind of the icing on the cake, man. You're right. Experience is the best teacher. I wouldn't want for anybody to go through that. So that's why I put stories like this out there. But you're right. Experience is the best teacher. And I like I kind of alluded to earlier, I had to pick up where I left off. So I had to go back to doing things as I've been doing. I had to go back to working out. And you see I'm doing this video right now, and go back to meditating, and going back to playing chess. But make no mistake about it, I will never be the same. It's not enough to take the kindness out of me, but I'm definitely going to be more on guard, as I should have been going into somebody else's place. I got rocked to sleep, and you know, because I'm able to identify if somebody is green, but apparently that doesn't stop me from internalizing it, like or disregarding it. I disregarded it. I disregarded what my intuition told me not to do, and I paid for it. And this happened to me many times. Every time I don't listen to my intuition, it's costly. All right. And so I hope I didn't talk a hole in your head. I thought, I hope there was some messages here, some takeaways. But sometimes the best thing that you can do is to observe, make a plan, to get through this, get beyond this. Because it's like I said many times before, bad things will happen. There are things that are out of your control that will happen. Now, this situation was in my control and until it wasn't. It got to a point where things were out of my control. I couldn't stop myself from being jumped at a certain point. I couldn't stop them from taking my stuff. I couldn't stop the police from arresting me. I couldn't stop the police from pointing me out as the aggressor. Yeah. But, and with that being said, maybe there will be kind of a gap between now and my next video, but I mean, maybe not. We'll see. I find myself sitting around, not necessarily bored or anything like that, but just trying to figure out what's my next move. What's because there's a lot going on right now in the world, and a big thing because I'm reading this book on 13 things that mentally strong people don't do. One thing I gotta realize is that this ain't special. This happened to me like it happened to many other people. Now, when I was younger, much younger, I was on the opposite side of that. I jumped somebody too, you know, and I reflected on that for years. And even like right after, I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. I was 18, but I knew better. Was this my karma? Possibly. Honestly, in accepting that this may have been my karma, it made me feel better because I was always reflective. I always thought about that time and just thought about how it was pretty fucked up how I could be at a party with a bunch of people and we pick out somebody to just jump. Didn't think about his parents, didn't think about him. And here I was put in a situation where they didn't care about that I had a family. They didn't care if I had a daughter. That didn't matter to them. So it's not really the sympathy that I want. I'm just hoping that this message gets across to other people because although I have changed, perhaps, the bill has gone too long um, unpaid. And I thought that I had suffered in other ways. I thought that would have made up for it and me being remorseful. But, you know, I, just desserts, and I I accept that. I accept that. I'll always apologize for the wrong that I've put into this world, the wrong that I've done. I'm not an angel. I didn't live the life of an angel, but I am a changed man. And I live by the things that I preach. I preach the things that I live by. And it's my hope that people don't have to do the things that I've done, endure the things that I've endured. All right. And so, with that, oh, well, I just wanted to say back to that book, 13 things that mentally strong people don't do is, in that book, they were just talking about, man, people got problems all over. Everybody's got these problems. Everybody's dealt with some shit. Everybody's struggling. Everybody, you know, and that takes the burden off of me. Right now, eyes are on me. The sympathy is here, but now, the next second it'd be on everybody else, and I'm okay with that. I don't need sympathy. I need strength. I need strength because I have to live for other people. People are watching me, and I can't afford. I can't afford to be weak. I can't afford that because it's a great thing. Now, weakness is a great opportunity for growth. Right, right now from the waist down, I'm extremely sore from leg exercises, extremely weak, and that's because I'm gonna keep fueling, and they're gonna grow back stronger. And such is the mind, and such is everything else that I'm experiencing right now. I'll come back stronger, wiser, perhaps more kindness, more empathy. What can I say? But with that being said, and I appreciate you all, I appreciate the support. Perhaps I'll take some more time to just sit with myself, to learn, to heal, to grow, all of these things, and then I'll come back. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. But I really appreciate you all, and have a great one.